Went to work the next day, and at lunchtime, noon, I went to the car to get something from the car. By the time I reached the car, I forgot what I came to the car to get. What did I come here for? Anyway, let me listen to the radio. There was a minister that had a program every Wednesday. I never forget it. And so he was speaking. He said, I have a very special today. I'm not a special guest today. I'm not going to speak to you. And his name is Swami Krishnapad. I said, Swami Krishnapad. I've never heard that name before. And so he said, yes, Swami, thank you for coming. And he started asking the Swami questions. And at that point in time, I also was studying about secret societies and what was going on in the Washington, D.C. political arena. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he asked the interviewer asked Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, what do you know about secret societies? And he said, well, we've been talking about secret societies for the last 30 or 40 years. There's nothing new in that area. He said, really? And he started speaking about it. However, he gave a spiritual perspective. And for the first time, for a few years, in hearing someone who was quite knowledgeable about material dealings and political areas, I left this conversation and I was not disturbed. I was not angry. It was the first time this happened. And I said, wow, this is very special. And so he was giving a lecture that evening. And the interviewer asked him, what's the name of your lecture? He said, well, it's Demigods, Archangels, and their position in the New World Order. And the buzzword around Washington, D.C. was the New World Order. And I said, whoa, let me go hear this Swami and see what he has to say about this topic. And I remember that evening when I went to the auditorium. When I walked into the auditorium, there were at least 300 to 400 people in the auditorium. And I said, wow, many of the people I knew. But at the same time, I never heard about the Swami. And when he walked into the room, we all stood up. And as he walked on stage, as Rajalila said, she said, I know you. I saw him. I said, wow, where do I know him from? And I sat down, and it even took me a little while to actually hear people introducing him. I think Rajalila actually introduced him. And I was just meditating on who this person was. And even after the lecture, people were standing up and fraternizing. And I was still sitting, just, where do I actually know him from? And so I remember signing up to have darshan, and I wasn't called. And then the next week, I brought a friend to hear the lecture, and we both signed up. And they were called, and I wasn't called. So, wow, what's going on here? And then the next week, another friend wanted to go hear him because, he was really, really popular. I brought them, and they signed. I signed. They were called. I wasn't called. I said, well, now, come on. What's going on here? Is this some kind of conspiracy? Anyway, after the third time I signed up and I wasn't called, I said, wow, what's going on? Maybe I'm just not supposed to meet him. And then the next day I was called. And I recall I went there and I had darshan with him. And it was just such a natural exchange. And ever since then, the devotees were so kind. They engaged me in doing service with Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj.